real innovation is in the system that has been, or the logical flow or the architecture that has been created. It is a network with the basic idea that if every line of every applicable regulation is mapped to its implementing SOP, and every SOP has verifiable execution evidence, and every evidence demonstrates regulatory requirement fulfillment, then 100% GMP compliance is mathematically certain. We've done comparative analysis with competitors or other regulators as well through commercial platforms, and we have identified that this nature of compliance percentage tracking is something that is unique to the setup that we have done. Project Hyperlink typically contains 5 main capabilities with a unified compliance setup of all of the laws, regulatory guidelines, Drugs and Cosmetics Act, ICH, all of those interconnected with the SOPs, interconnected with the practical execution of BMR, BPR, QC logbooks, all of them on the shop floor and all powered by AI. The architecture contains 3 primary layers. First is the regulatory layer, as I was mentioning, 15 plus regulatory guidelines. Then the SOP layer, 1000 plus SOPs, and the document archive of actual physical execution of 50,000 operational records. This interconnected system, back and forth, upward and downward interconnection, which is enabled through AI, allows for a much thorough tracking of actual measurable compliance. When we started this project, it was done in over the course of 9 months in 2 main phases. First was theoretical compliance, mapping all of the regulatory guidelines to the SOPs, and practical compliance, mapping all of the SOPs to practical execution on the shop floor. This full process enabled us to be confident that whatever is being mentioned in the guideline is actually being executed at the shop floor level. I have a few screenshots to share on the system. It is powered by Notion. It was built on top of it, and it allows for details of, or a database of, all of the guidelines, all of the laws, all of the SOPs, and a practical shop floor document archive of 50,000 documents, as I was talking about. So, what does it mean in practice? It means that today, if an auditor asks us where is grade A particle monitoring documented, then we can ask the AI and it can tell that what you're talking about is mentioned in EU GMP Annex 1, section 9.16 to 9.17. It is a part of QA's SOP number 349, version 14, and the status is compliant. This seamless system in a few seconds uh, basically simplifies the process of compliance management for the company significantly. It used to take more than 20 to 30 minutes to answer any query like that. I'll share a quick video of the entire workflow to give you an understanding of how it operates. Please let me know if the audio is not audible. Project Hyperlink is a compliance intelligence system based on one fundamental principle: mathematical certainty. It includes 3 main sections of GMP laws, GMP guidelines, and standard operating procedures, along with supporting documents and actual execution on the shop floor. So that specifically, for instance, GMP guidelines of Schedule M, WHO, TRS, GDP, EU Annex 1, PICS, all of the guidelines that are applicable to Venus Remedies Limited, 15 plus guidelines have been categorically mapped line by line into a database structure in the software. Then these are 15 plus guidelines, and we have 1000 plus SOPs that have been mapped into a database, which includes, let's say, this one for continuous particle monitoring, the details, and the corresponding linking to the associated guideline that is mapped here. Along with that, with 1000 plus SOPs, we have practical execution of around 50,000 plus documents or year by year of QC, QA, BMR, BPR, logbooks, validation documents that have all been mapped and interlinked between SOPs and guidelines. So at any point of time, if we ask or an auditor asks us, where is grade A particle monitoring documented, it will tell us that exactly which section of EU guideline and or PICS Schedule M guideline is it documented, which SOP is this for, and where what it. So specifically, if I show you right now, these are interlinked. So if I click on this, it will link to the respective section of EU Annex 1 that describes where particle monitoring is documented. It is all an interconnected system powered by AI. So the capability of the system is that it is measurable GMP online percentage, because we have linked line by line every guideline to every SOP done by humans, reviewed by experts, and then powered by AI on top of it, so that accuracy of the system is maintained from day one. It is maintained across all of the 9 facilities manufacturing plants of Venus Remedies Limited, with 1,000 plus SOPs and documents, as I was talking about. The differentiating feature that we have seen is that usually compliance is seen as a way to ensure through software, maybe through digital systems, through automation systems and all of that. We've tracked it through various other uh, platforms, and the benefit we have seen ourselves is that for the first time, Venus could measurably prove that we are 100% GMP online with our SOPs and documents and our response time. We've seen real-time capability of our system, where what used to take us 20 to 60 minutes can be responded within seconds. There is clear transparency and visibility in the process of what is my GMP percentage and how do I have to maintain it. We are audit ready at any point in time, and there is reduced manual dependency on the process. Additionally, we have also been able to map out for the future needs of compliance. Let's say Annex 1 is done, so Annex 11 and 22 for EU are coming in. So making sure we are able to map, identify gaps, bridge them, upgrade the system. This becomes a comprehensive and recurring process for us to be doing. This was presented in Automa Plus. It's a pharmaceutical congress in Vienna last year. And the audience of European pharma regulators, industry leaders, and compliance officers recognized the setup of Project Hyperlink and identified that this is truly industry first and done for compliance mapping, done very uniquely, that had not been done before. And we've seen the market potential of quality management system. As I was describing, it is currently valued at $1.9 billion, is estimated to grow at 3.8 or $4 billion by 2030. Project Hyperlink is a way to ensure compliance with a very clear numerical number. We feel that this nature of compliance was required so that we can effectively calibrate patient safety. We know that quality comes from ensuring that every part of guideline, SOP, and practical execution implemented one to one. And we were able to do that through Project Hyperlink, and that ensures quality in every piece, which is what we believe. And this is a blueprint that we have created. Any pharmaceutical company anywhere in the world can implement this kind of a structure and ensure that compliance is really measurably there in the system. Software does that, but this kind of an architecture, this network that we have built, allows for a very thorough tracking of the system.
Mr. Akshan, just the time's up for the presentation.
Last slide. Thank you so much. We've built this to answer what is our GMP online percentage. I'm open to questions.
Jury, we can very well presented, Mr. Adarsh. Jury, we can start with the Q&A session.
Akshans, okay. So Akshans, so you are mapping the operating SOPs, and you are comparing or connecting with the
regulatory requirement.
Regulatory
guidelines.
requirement. And basically, you're not really changing the process of manufacturing, right?
No.
So no, that's very good. I just want to establish that.
Yeah.
Not changing that. You're making sure that all the regulatory requirements are mapped, and then you can quickly find the information about what you're doing, and therefore the audit becomes faster.
Yes.
So it is more of a document interconnection, and basically your AI is
It-
scanning
It's
and
a
figuring
system
out.
architecture, yes.
So you are more of a document intelligence system or something like that.
You can say that, yes.
Something, I mean, I just want to simplify it. So,
Yeah,
because
yeah, sure.
there's so much of a process behind. You cannot change that. There's the regulatory bodies are doing their own thing. You're simply coming in between to ensure that the data is available, the information is available to each one.
Right.
Any specific technological innovation that you might have used to get to this outcome?
The innovation is primarily driven by finding the gap in the architecture which was missing. We felt that guidelines were their own separate repository. Companies operate with their own specific structure, and mapping them and creating that was the innovation that was built into the process. And then after that, training the AI over and over to responsibly answer and validate that with the team was the other end of the process.
So just one more question I just got. You said 100%. 100% would mean, if you're training the AI to make it smarter and smarter, it takes time. So could be asymptotically becoming smarter with time. But you cannot claim 100. Can you still claim 100?
So AI responding to us, the reason why it's 100 is because the database is linked line by line to by the
Okay.
guideline to the SOP. So we know that every single line of every guideline that is applicable to us has been mapped and traced manually and checked by
Manually.
experts by the team.
Okay.
So
Manually.
because that has been verified, AI is just building on top of that and responding.
All right. Great. Thank you.
So you are using it for your internal purposes, or it's available in the market for other companies also to use?
So it started off with Venus Remedies Limited, but it has not been commercialized yet. We realized that this architecture can be, I mean, I received a similar response from the audience at Vienna as well, where they also were of the opinion that this can be leveraged by other pharma companies. But right now, it is purely internal to the organization.
So what kind of social impact will it have? I mean,
Wait,
in that situation, if it is purely for internal consumption.
At the moment, yes, it is. But the idea is to leverage or open source the architecture so that other pharma companies are able to leverage a similar kind of a setup and then ensure compliance done in this manner. At the moment, it was built to be at least testing a particular setup. When we started this off last year, we were able to map it 90 to 95%. We gradually built it up this year to make it 100%. And now that we are confident that the system works, AI is able to respond, the linking is working and all of that, we will then open it up for the world to be using it so that there's no doubt in anybody's mind when they are working or
No,
using
but
this.
are you going to monetize it, make a separate division to sell this product as a product, or is it just something for internal and you just want others to play with it?
For
You
patient
see,
safety
so it is
specifically,
important because once we are evaluating you for an one, of course, inside the company, innovation is also good, but we also look for innovation that is seriously going to
Mhm.
affect other people also, so that it's wider.
Makes sense.
So something like that. I can innovate something very, very meaningful inside my own alone, but that I
Mhm.
won't get an jury award for that because that innovation is not impacting others. Just wanted to clarify that. So,
Sure.
all right.
The
Thank
plan for us right now is to open source the architecture once it is fully stable and ready, and then we make it available for other pharma companies to use it as well. Monetization is not something that we are directly seeing now. Specifically talking about how the structural flow would be, that then Venus has a parallel. We have a software arm of the company as well, and the setup and the entire software validation was done by them, and the intent would be that once we have that in place, then uh, commercializing it, making it available, and all of that will begin. Right now we are in the stage where we have proved ourselves that this model works.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
But generally, you see, regulators have prescribed their own formats for seeking compliance from the company, right? So this particular product which you have made, what use generally, I mean, from regulators' point of view, he's not going to rely upon the answers which your AI gives to them. They are going to specifically ask compliances in the formats prescribed by them and duly signed by authorized signatory. Blah blah blah. What use
Let me
exactly? Yeah.
yes, let me try to answer that in our experience of interfacing with pharmaceutical regulatory, and Venus deals with in 100 we are present in 100 plus countries, so we have dealt with almost all global regulators, and mostly regulation or audits of any regulator is driven by the guideline and everyone who is following that. For instance, a European regulator will see EU Annex 1,
Yes.
UK will see UK MHRA, India will see Schedule M, let's say Malaysia will see PICS, and so on
Correct.
and so forth. So what we have done is we have mapped that guideline so that we do not show them the system. I mean, for them, they need to know that if we are following this process, it is present in, let's say, EU Annex 1, Section 9.16. That they would know because they are going by the book.
Yes. So I mean, it is primarily to ensure that you are compliant.
Yes, but very measurably so. Usually,
Very
we do
measurably.
not know that we don't have a number or we don't have a way to say that. We're just following a software, but justifying that to ourselves or to the regulator becomes very hard.
Okay.
I have a question here. I'm trying to understand your the presentation. So you have a company has a whole set of SOPs, like you said,
Yes.
several thousand, you said.
Mhm.
And then, of course, you have regulations. Okay. And then in most cases, you need to have an audit to understand compliance.
Right.
So audit shows off different metrics, and that is, and the audit is of processes which are based on SOPs,
Mhm.
right? And you check the compliance of the metrics of the process against the regulations that are there, right?
Right.
So is that what you are doing as in the pharma industry, or you are just trying to validate that the SOPs are in line with the regulations?
It's a mix of both. It starts off from so guideline is always a little generalized. It is not specific because that's what procedure are for, as you've mentioned. So what we do in stage one is screens that I did not show is that we mapped every guideline based on its applicability on Venus first. It was done by the team, reviewed internally, checked every section and all of that. Then, based on actual execution, what was our process, we tried to see which section of the guideline was best mapping it to, and then we decided that since it was working, these are the SOPs, these are the guidelines, paragraphs or lines that it was associated with, and we mapped them. Did I
And
answer?
right now, it is only with Venus. You're not monetized yet.
Yes, at the moment it is only
What
with
you're saying is that
because
the industry is saying that there is
yes,
high applicability.
yes.
Are any other companies in India using this method that you?
As we've identified from last year release presentations, that this is this structure of compliance for a pharmaceutical sector is an industry first. So we wanted to validate it fully, which we've now done. In this year it was done, and now the plan would be to share it with the world and let everyone leverage this particular way of compliance.
In the absence of your technology, how is compliance tracked, audited? Is it largely manual process or what? I mean,
It's
these are
software driven. There are ERPs, there are various ways. So the idea is that traditional way of thinking is that if an auditor passes, or if we have certification, if we have EU GMP, UK MHRA certifications, then we are compliant. That's the way to know. But there's no real way to map it against the guideline because guidelines work on their own.
okay. All right. Yeah.
Pransh, I have last one question. How you are coming with that number? Because I saw you displayed some rule-based systems are typically they come with some semantic output, right? More qualitative output. But how you derive that number? Because you kept 2, 3 times talking about the number. So how you derive that number?
A number of compliance percentage that you're talking about?
You said mathematics, right?
Okay,
Outcome
okay.
should be, yeah. So I'm just curious what it comes. It's like a 90% compliance, 99% compliance,
It's
what that
purely
number
driven
means.
by so if let's say I have 5,000 lines of guidelines that are totally mentioned, then 5,000 out of those 5,000, let's say 4,000 are relevant to the company. So if all of those have been mapped, tracked, and complied with, then that gives me my number that in terms of my applicability as a pharmaceutical company, if all of those 4,000 lines of guidelines have been complied with, then I'm compliant.
Sometimes what happens if there is a fuzziness in compliance, for example, that typically all these NLP kind of systems, they don't exactly match 100%. Sometimes you may have some. So how you quantify that in that case? You might have
What
heard
you
about the
can-
fuzzy logic, right?
Yes, it started off with a manual correlation. That's why, because we wanted the team of QA and the entire operations team to get together, map it, and identify based on their experience how it was linked. And then AI was built on top of that to leverage that linking. So the linking was done manually and reviewed by experts, which is why we are more confident with how it is.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Very well presented, Mr. Akshansh. I wish you all the best for your future innovations as well as the results.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can leave
Thank
the
you so much.
presentation. Yeah.
Thank you.